Welcome back, guys. It's still Breakfast Daily right here on Citi TV. And now it's time for us to get into one of the segments that we all love. And it's no segment than the personality profile. And today we are going to be talking to someone very, very interesting. And it's no other person than Professor Asiedu. And she's the acting dean of the School of Performing Arts here at the University of Ghana. You are welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. You are looking ravishing.
Thank you. So are you, actually.
Prof.
Very traditional.
Asiedu. Prof, where are you from?
I was born in Angloga, so I often say that's where I'm from.
Okay.
But traditionally, we are from where our fathers are from.
Yeah.
We are patrilineal.
Yeah.
So my father is from Strong Bay, all in the Water
Strong Bay.
region. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to go into this issue right now. When you talked about patrilineal, it just took my mind to something. How do we resolve this problem? I have a problem. I'm looking for a resolution.
Okay, let's see if we can help.
Chris,
you.
think about
Yes.
it.
Okay.
When I go to my mother's home, my mother's home is a patrilineal home. So they say, you don't belong here. Go to your father's house. When I go to my father's home, they are matrilineal. So they say, no, go to your mother's house.
Oh, wow.
Please, help me with the resolution.
You are Ghanaian.
Okay, thank you very much. As simple as short.
Yes.
That's all.
Okay, so what was life like growing up?
Well, it was a lot of fun because for the first 7 years of my life, we lived in Angloga.
Okay.
And for part of that time, we all lived in my grandmother's house with my mother. And there were many cousins there as well. So there were lots of children. And so you can imagine growing up with a lot of kids. It was a lot of fun, you know. And we used to go to school together, come back together. And in those days, I always say this, I always tell this story. We didn't wear shoes to school in the early 60s. I mean, in the 60s. And so we would walk. If you know Angloga, it's a sandy, a beach area. So we'd walk to school in the morning without our slippers. And then in the afternoon, in the hot sun, my grandmother would carry all of our slippers in a bowl to the school so that we would not walk in the hot sun with our bare feet. But she herself would be barefoot.
Wow.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting.
So it's like I wouldn't say it's a cultural thing, but everyone around enjoyed it like that.
Well, I guess, I don't know, maybe she was used to it, but she would bring, so that we, the little ones, would not burn our feet in the hot sun.
No, but that's interesting. So why not take your slippers if you know you're going to return with slippers?
Because it was against the school regulations to wear shoes to school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know why. I mean, perhaps because some people had and some people didn't.
Oh, yeah.
And so to make it, you are all equal.
Equality, to create some kind of equality. So no one feels, left out.
Left out.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I think that's a good. I think that's a good enough reason somehow. But although they did not think about the health aspects
of the children, yeah. But we've come a long way as a country.
I was going to ask, regarding that, when you compare Angloga today to Angloga in the 60s, how much has changed?
That's a difficult question. Certainly, there's electricity now.
Okay.
There's pipe-borne water.
Okay.
But from my point, and there are lots more new, modern-looking houses. And so I guess in that regard, that has changed. I don't live there anymore, so I don't really know.
The day-to-day life
yeah. But it's. I think like all parts of Ghana, there's been a lot of change in terms of developments. There are more roads within the town now. Every time I go back, I'm surprised at where you can drive. Before it was just one main road.
But that's good to hear. That shows that there's positive.
There's progress.
There's change. I think the downside is that we now have the plastic waste problem like everywhere else in Ghana. Back in those days, you didn't have that.
Right. Oh.
The primary school, walking to school, coming back home, a lot of fun, a lot of experiences. Did you do secondary school as well in Anoga?
No.
Okay, so what
By the age of, my dad was outside the country doing his masters during that period. So when he came back, I think it was in 71, we moved to Winneba,
Okay.
where he was teaching at the ATTC, now the University of Education Winneba.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so we were in Winneba for a year. So I did part of my primary school there, and then we moved to Cape Coast, where he became a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. So I spent quite a bit of my primary school days in Cape Coast.
Right.
And then and then he left again to the US to do his PhD.
Yeah.
And I'm number 4 or 5
Okay.
girls. So the number
hence
4
the
and number
manner.
5, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's why I'm Mana. So the last 2 of us were able to join him together with our mom in the US for 2 years. So I did 2 years of junior high school in the
Okay.
US.
Okay.
Right.
And then I came back and went to Wesley Girls High School. Yeah.
okay.
So I did my secondary school in Wesley Girls High School.
What was Wesley Girls like in those days?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Some people say they didn't enjoy secondary school, but that was
Yeah.
the opposite for me. I really enjoyed secondary school. After Form 1, of course.
Yeah.
Form 1 is
The
always...
Form 1 is the one that
it's
is
always-
like
It's
just
always the entries.
Yeah,
harrowing
yeah,
for
yeah. And
everybody.
then you have seniors that want
Yeah.
to bully you
Yeah.
and things like that. So for me, it was a lot of fun. I made friends that I've become lifelong friends.
with, yeah.
And Wesley Girls was, I mean, it was a place of discipline. I mean, you had to do things at certain times. But it was also fun. We had fun as well, you know, and we had, after our classes and lunch, we had a siesta.
Okay.
Where you had to
Right.
sleep,
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah.
And then after that, you had some free time for extracurricular activities,
Okay.
if you're in a club.
Yeah.
And then after supper, you went for prep. And then after prep, bedtime at 8:40, I think it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
But for me, I really enjoyed Wesley Girls.
Right.
I mean,
Let me ask this question, because a lot of the times, you know, people go through this whole first year, very harrowing experience for a lot of people, you know, of bullying and homoing and those kinds of things. Did your first year experience make you want to be more empathetic or
Join the bullies.
vindictive?
join the
Yeah.
bullies.
Or vindictive?
I don't think I was a bully. My juniors would be the ones to really. I just thought it was ridiculous. I mean, just because you're an older girl or you are a senior didn't give you the right to bully
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
But it was a
Somehow
culture
a culture had developed.
developed,
Yeah,
and so yeah. But I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't the type that endured bullying.
Yeah.
Because I just felt it was wrong. So I
Yeah.
stood up to some of my seniors.
Okay.
Of course.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you stories.
Yeah.
You know, so and I remember one of my classmates always said, if a senior told her to go and call a Form 1 girl and she came and I was the only one there, should go back and say there's no Form 1 girl.
So you're more
I
like an
see.
iron lady.
I wouldn't call myself an iron lady, but let me just say I stood up for my rights.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, before you continue, we have some coconut available to drink and eat and enjoy. Yeah, so you know how the sun is just giving us
Yeah,
some
the sun
nice
is-
vitamin D and all that.
Yeah.
We're going to get some coconut to refresh
That would be
ourselves as
wonderful.
well.
That would
Yeah.
be
So
wonderful.
please bring it across here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about back to secondary school, would you say the whole bullying thing shocked you
All right,
because
let me
you
give
came
that
back
to her
from
first.
America?
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm sure the
Thank you.
system
Yeah.
is way
Please
different
feel free to drink.
from here.
Let's
Oh, I'll
do-
drink it, don't worry. Shall I answer your question before I drink
No,
it?
you can drink it.
Okay, thank you.
What was the question you're asking here again?
Yeah, so I'm like, the whole bullying thing, I'm sure it
ahead
looked, all new to her because she came from another system of education.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I was coming back. Shall I just put
Yeah.
it in?
Yes, we can put it in. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
My
Thank
friends
you.
in
Thank
my
you very
school in the US were like, you're going to a girls' school. You know. But I didn't really think much about it. But maybe, let me just say that when I came back, I went a year behind my classmates. So
Right.
my mates from primary school were a year ahead of me.
you.
Because when I was coming back, when I got back, the headmistress then, Miss Garnett of blessed memory, said, coming from the US, the educational standard in her mind in Ghana was higher than the US at the time. And so
Yeah.
she didn't think that I would,
Yeah, you
I would
handle what you're doing.
she felt I needed to start from Form 1. And I think she was right. You know, I was getting straight A's and things in the US. When I came here, and my dad did warn me that I shouldn't think that
Yeah.
school would be as easy, in
Mm-hmm.
Ghana as it was in the US. And they were absolutely right. I mean, I went to Form 1, started with my mates, and it was really tough.
Yeah.
You know?
I
And
think,
so having that thing about not my mates were senior, I didn't feel like so I was older than some of my seniors
Yeah.
and my classmates. So I guess that also made me
Stand up for yourself.
stand up for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
being in academia now, what do you think it is that makes at least the education system of the older era, all right, the O-level, A-level system, made us globally very competitive? You know, what was it about it?
My goodness, you've touched on a sore point. I moan about this all the time. I think the educational system we had then was not examination focused.
Okay.
You know, because you went to Form 1 and you didn't have to bother about exams till
Yeah.
Form 5.
Wow.
And Form 1 to 3, you did everything. At least in
Okay.
Wesley Girls, we did generals, science, maths, English, all those things. And then when you got Form 3, then you chose your subjects,
Okay.
whether you're going to be a science student
Yeah.
or an arts student,
Yeah.
and so on. And then you had 2 more years before you did O levels. And so we're learning skills, you know, and we're learning.
Instead of learning to go and write for an exam. Yeah.
Now the system is children are at BC, they are learning just to pass BC.
Yes, yes, yes.
And all the focus is on how to pass the exam. It's not
That's
about
true.
gaining knowledge
Yeah.
or being educated.
Educated, yeah.
You know, and I think that is a real big mistake. And so everything is focused on that. And then you do your BC, you pass,
And then that's
then you
it,
go to
yeah.
SSS, and you have 3 years, you have to focus again on passing SSS. And so kids are just learning to pass exams. And so by the time they come to the university,
Yeah.
they are programmed in a certain way.
Yeah.
For example, sometimes my first lecture, you are talking to students and you are telling them about the course.
Yeah.
And then you ask them, what question do you have? Can you believe? Invariably, most of the time they'll ask, how would your exam be like?
Yeah, because yes, exactly, because it's not your program.
It's like,
to
is that
think,
all you
yeah.
could think of?
And I keep saying, I don't care about your exam.
Yeah.
That's not why you're here.
Yeah.
I want to teach you
Life.
for you to learn.
Yeah.
You're learning skills for life. You're
Yeah.
not learning to pass an exam.
Yeah.
I don't care about your exam. And sometimes it takes them off guard. It's like, what is this one talking about? You know, because all they are concerned about is passing an exam.
Yeah.
But that's not what education is
No,
about.
it's not. It's not.
You know?
How did you get onto the path of academia?
Well, both
Because
my
now we're talking post-secondary school now.
Yeah.
You're done with that.
Yeah.
How did you get onto this
Okay.
path?
Well, my parents are both teachers. My father was
Okay.
a university lecturer, as I
Okay.
mentioned. So education is very important in our house. In fact, shall I tell you a secret? My
Please
father's
tell
house
us.
in Strong Bay is called Education House.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so you're from that kind of family.
Education
so
house.
education is very, very highly prized
Amazing.
in our house. But after my first degree, I was considering what to do. I did my national service in my department, the Department of Theatre Arts. I read English and theatre arts. I majored in theatre and minored in English.
Okay.
And so I was invited to do my national service in the department. And so during that time, I realized it was quite interesting teaching. So I started thinking about it. So afterwards, I was encouraged to do my master's. Then we didn't have a master's program in the theatre department. So I did my master's in adult education.
Okay.
Yeah, where I combined my knowledge in theatre with adult education. So I did my research on the educational value of Akan drama on television.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was
Okay.
what my MPhil dissertation was on. And so after that, I was hired to lecture in the department. And after that, so after a few years of teaching, I got a scholarship to do my PhD in the UK. So I continued so I went back into theater studies and did my PhD in theater.
Yeah.
But how was it like telling your parents that, okay, I want to focus on theater studies? Because obviously in our environment as Africans, it's always hard to say, okay, I want to do arts.
Yeah.
I want to do arts because everybody wants you to either be a banker, a doctor, a science engineer or something. But you were doing arts.
Yes. I've been a pure art student. I've always loved literature.
Okay.
And I remember when I was going to the university, my dad wanted me to go to Cape Coast University to do secretarialship, BCom or something with French.
Yeah.
And I struggled with French, and I was like, I really don't want to do this. So in the end, he allowed me to go to Legon. But of course, I wanted to do anything with literature. And so when I was given, I got theater studies, literature, and linguistics for my combination. Yeah. I had no idea what linguistics was about, nor theater studies, to be honest.
Okay.
And my friends laughed at me that you've come to the university to do dondology.
I heard that's a very derogatory term for describing playing the dondo. You know that's where it's from.
Is the dondology.
Yes, dondology. That's the very, condescending way of...
Definitely, and ignorant, I must say.
I mean, seriously.
But then, you see, so as a young person, I mean, I tried to change it, actually. I tried to change the theater studies to something else. And a wise old man told me, you go try it. If after the first year you don't like it, you can drop it. Yeah. But don't change it. And he told me some of the most confident people he knew were people who did theater. And I thank God always for that man. Because I went and tried theater, and for me, I told him, if I had known that there was a program like this in the university, I would have chosen it myself. Yeah. Because as I said, I've always enjoyed literature. And so for me, theater studies was like, even a lot more than just literature. It was literature that could come alive. Theater performance was based in literature, dramatic literature, of course, but it was something that could come alive. Yeah. And I thoroughly enjoyed my first year as a theater student. So I decided I was going to stick with it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And here I am with a PhD in theater studies.
Now,
dondology.
Considering you are the very apex really of academics in the arts. What do you think of our little village in Strongbe?
Oh, this is a village in Strongbe? Yeah. Oh, I almost didn't recognize it.
No, with the coconuts,
Well, I can see that you are very well, you're dressed like somebody from my village.
He even changed his name.
Oh, he's no longer Kweku.
No.
Oh, you are Fuko. Yes. Oh, Fuko. Nice. This is lovely, actually. A nice change.
Boy, yes. Now, here's another question I have. You talked about your dissertation on the value of Akan drama.
Yeah.
Have we not lost something precious to the society, not having Osofodazi and Akan drama on TV as a regular?
Definitely. I mean, one of the things that drew me to that subject was how it was clear that Ghanaians really loved Akan drama. On Sunday evenings, you'd see people clustered around TV sets.
Yes. Yeah.
People who didn't own TVs.
Yeah.
You see them clustered. That was like, what really drew my attention. Like, this thing is really popular.
Yeah. It was like modern day EPL matches. Right. You see people clustered around TV sets.
In fact, the only other time you saw that was when there was a football match. Involving, that was in the early 90s. So that's what drew my attention. That this thing is a very popular thing. What is it that makes it so popular for Ghanaians? And so one of the questions I was asking in my dissertation was, what is it about Akan drama that makes it so popular? And the thing was the language.
Yes.
Okay.
Because in those days, we also had TV theater, which was in English.
Yes.
So the language was a factor. you know, it was one that people understood. Generally, of course, Akan is the most widely spoken language in Ghana.
Yeah.
Even in Strong Bay, you have people speaking to show that they've traveled. That's what I've discovered. You know, so it certainly is a value. So I guess that is why these days we have these voiceovers or these foreign things.
The foreign
But
sitcoms.
it's that for me it's a bit jarring.
It is jarring, actually.
You know, to have these
People
Indians,
who don't look like they know a word in
speaking,
tree,
yes.
sounding like they're speaking tree. It's
Because we
very-
can't relate. The people can't relate.
Well, people relate because, well, Asia and Africa, I mean, we do have certain things in common. So some of the themes and issues that these telenovelas and address, people can relate to. But it's certainly easier when they hear what the people are saying in Akan. But for me, nothing will beat local productions.
Yeah.
You know, nothing beats local productions. That if we had Ghanaians doing those shows and speaking
The language.
I think it would be much, much more appealing. But local production, as you well know, is expensive.
Yes.
We get these things from outside very cheaply, and so I don't know, but I think that we are doing our nation a disservice by not encouraging more local productions. You know, even our local film industry is struggling, but you know. But there has to be investment in these things.
That is what it is.
In the end, I mean, we are 66 years old as a nation. I mean, some people are trying. There are efforts being made by some, but it's expensive and investment in these things are rare. So,
Yeah, but so talking about the local productions, when it comes to investment, it seems to be the biggest problem that the film industry has right now. And also because most of the investors do not see how they are going to get their money back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now, as someone in the industry, if an investor comes to you right now and asks, what can we do better, or what would you advise? I mean, to the investor and even to the stakeholders here.
I think there are people who are showing that investing in the arts can pay off. You know, so there should be engagement with people like that and find ways of doing it. I mean, a recent case in point, perhaps not the only one, but is Chief Movement's attempt at creating his Mansa World Productions.
Mansa World,
I mean, he's worked very hard in pushing to get people to believe in his dream and to invest in it. You know, so it takes hard work on both sides. You know, I guess people need to be able to do a proposal and convince people that this is worth investing in. I guess it's a two-way thing. I would also say invest in the training of people in the arts. You know, and I feel that investment in the training in the performing arts is really negligible sometimes. I mean, I've been on your show before talking about an effort to raise money
to finish
a building that was started in 2004, and as I speak, it hasn't moved.
Wow.
And we haven't raised
much
at all.
Wow.
You know, so what is it? I mean, but you see, the performing arts, I always say, carry our culture. You know, I mean, our dances, our music, our theater really are the ways in which we can express our Ghanaianness. You know.
Speaking of dances, so these days you go on social media, TikTok, other spaces, and so on and so forth. You realize that even our dances have gone so wide and so global that even white people, look, 10 years ago, you would never see a white person anywhere at a train station dancing Azonto or any of these our dances. But it's gone wildly global. What do you make of it, first of all, and then why do you think this has become the case, where people who would never be caught dead dancing in public are today dancing freely on video, filming it on purpose to put it out there?
I guess social media is just opening up spaces for people to express themselves, which wasn't the case before. So I guess it is more obvious now.
Yeah.
But Westerners have always been interested in
Okay.
our music and in
Okay.
our dance
Okay.
and so on. I mean, it's not new.
Okay.
Even though the early colonial era, missionary era, they saw some of our performances as being fetish
Yeah.
and barbaric.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, but
Yeah.
but people are. I mean, music is powerful. It's interesting, and if you hear good music, you'll be drawn to it. Whether
Yeah.
it's from China or
Yeah,
Ghana
it
or
doesn't
wherever,
matter.
it doesn't really matter. Music is powerful, and so people appreciate it. So it's not surprising. We appreciate a lot of Western music here
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
and so music is just an intercultural language. You know, and so we at the School of Performing Arts, for example, many of these European and American students who come to our department to learn dance
Yeah.
and music. So it's not surprising.
Yeah.
And I always say when we have our dance lecturers go to the West to studies, invariably they don't come back because they are snapped off like this.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are looking for
Yeah,
people to
true.
teach traditional dance
Yeah.
and music
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's becoming global. And maybe it's now that we are going to appreciate it more. Ghanaians, unfortunately, it is when someone else appreciates what we have
Yeah,
that we begin, to, see its
value in it. Yeah.
It is ridiculous,
Yeah.
but that's what it
But
is.
it's a very interesting space that we find ourselves in. The theme for our Heritage Month is Make It Ghana, right?
Yeah.
Our focus is we've not done well with focusing on being Ghanaian and being proudly, overtly,
Ghanaian.
almost obnoxiously Ghanaian. It's like show it off,
in your face,
you know,
Ghanaian.
in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been in bits and pieces here and there. You go places, oh, Asamoah, you know, that kind of thing. Back in the day, was Azuma Nelson, you know, and all of that. People sort of try and create affiliations and so on. But here at Citi, we've decided that Make It Ghana, as far as tourism is concerned.
Yeah.
Make it Ghana as far as investment is concerned. Make it Ghana as far as film is concerned. Now, you know, we had this movie that was shot, Dangerous Voyage,
Yeah.
shot some time
Yeah.
ago,
That's one of the
depicting
best movies
a
from
stowaway situation and all of that. We are now trying to drive this and say, this is coming from the Ghana Film Company, saying that let Ghana be the place of choice. When Hollywood is thinking about shooting with an African theme, an African background, an African setting, let Ghana be a place of choice. We're looking at investments and saying to the whole world, to Africa, to the rest of the continent, Ghana is your place when you're thinking of investment. And then tourism is saying, look, listen, we have it all here. Steve Abebio and Gina Arthur went out there and have photographed and filmed 33 waterfalls
In Ghana.
In Ghana. And this is not even all the waterfalls. There were places they couldn't go.
Yeah.
You know, but we were 33. And I said, I didn't even
In
know
this
there
small
were that many.
country
In
of
a small
ours.
country of ours, you know. What do you make of this drive?
Oh,
Make it Ghana.
I think it's long overdue. I mean, definitely, if we don't make it, who else will? We are Ghanaians. And if we don't make it Ghana, then who else is? Nobody else is going to do it for us. So I think it's certainly positive that it's about time that we presented ourselves as we really are, you know. But in doing that, of course, I always say we need to be mindful of the things that we have to do to really make it Ghana.
Yeah.
You know, we can't expect tourists to pour in here and then they can't find
there's no
places of
experience.
convenience when they need it. You know, so there are things we need to do to put in place to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And so if we're asking tourists to come here, we have to make sure that our infrastructure, I mean, going to Kakum, close to my school, Kakum Park, the road, I don't know if it's been done now.
I get you.
You know, so I mean, there are things that we need to put in place. You know, but then of course, if we ourselves are not proud of our own heritage, then no one else will be. So of course, that's a starting point. So we need to push that agenda, and I guess, I mean, Citi is certainly at the forefront of that. And March, I realize a number of media houses now make it the Ghana, but I think every month is a Ghana month.
Right,
it's not only March.
It shouldn't be just March.
It shouldn't be just March.
I like the fact that we built this around Independence Day and then going beyond the day, make it the whole month. And then do other things and other events to spread it throughout the year.
That would make it more sustainable and more effective, I think.
Talking about spearheading the drive towards, you know, making it Ghana, Heritage Caravan is starting tomorrow.
Okay.
Right.
I'm missing the caravan, unfortunately.
14 we're going through 14 regions.
Oh, wonderful.
In 7 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Many of the places that, you know, people imagine and everything, we're going to go through them anyway and see all these places. But one thing that I've heard Caravanites say, that's what we call the Caravanites. Yeah. Well, I hear them say, especially those who have gone the third, fourth, fifth time, right, is that when they go back to some of those places, they actually see improvements.
Oh, wonderful.
You know, so for example, some places where they went before, there was no road. Some of those places now have roads.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. So I think that there is some amount of improvement generally across board. But like you said, we've got to, there's got to be a concerted effort. You know,
throughout the year.
You know, in pushing that.
So that's something I would really love to do sometime, because one of my bucket wishes, it's ridiculous. I've been to a number of African countries, European countries, but I haven't seen all of Ghana. You know, there are places in Ghana I've never been, and I really would like to go. So maybe I should plan towards one of your caravans.
Yeah, you should, but if you can't, I know the time is already short. I mean, you obviously can't join this one.
No.
But then again, I have a good news for you.
You do?
Yes. We have the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar coming soon. And that's where you're going to taste everything Ghanaian, food from all the regions.
Wonderful.
And I mean, it promises to be great and exciting. I've seen videos and, you know, I just can't wait. So yes, we're inviting you to come to the
Definitely. Back to the Village Bazaar. Yes. Some of the authentic Ghanaian dishes that we are losing. Right. Some children don't know some.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, it's like a very good family day out event kind of thing, because again, like you said, children of today will largely not know much beyond their immediate circle of what they, you know, what they experience on a daily, you know, because again, I mean, you're going to prepare a propansa. It's a whole, you know, job to do. So let's eat the rice and stew like that.
Or go get a pizza. Or
but I like a propansa.
Keep it simple. No, what I'm saying is that sometimes the effort in making the dishes, you know, becomes so laborious that a lot of parents, look, think about the kind of hours you put in at work. Right? And then you have to now go home and go and now start preparing it. You see, for all the wanting you want in the world, you're like, you know what, I'm exhausted.
I can't do all of that.
So I think that for me, one of the great things about the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar is that in one location, there's literally huts and, you know, villages that have been set up. You will have local snacks, local yes, local ready-to-eat foods and local drinks. You know, all in one location.
When is it?
It's on the 25th and 26th. It's a 2-day bazaar.
It's a 2-day event. So if you miss one day,
you can go for the second.
But I'll
put it in my diary.
But I'll give you the tip and advice that I've been giving our viewers. A full wallet and empty stomach.
And take away.
And then take away packs. Because you will want to buy and pack away.
Okay, sure.
You will definitely want.
I'll keep that in mind.
You should. You should.
But talking about the labor involved in local cooking, I mean, but then there are modern ways of doing some of these things.
That's true.
You know, like I never buy palm nuts anymore to cook.
Okay. You use the cans? Use the cans? Okay, and Nkulenu ones.
Free adverts.
Yeah. I mean, it's making Ghana.
Ghana,
So I use that. I don't have to go through all of that. I've tried using food mixers for food, but it's not quite the same.
It's the same, yeah.
So I've gone back to the
I've
pounding.
seen people use that as well, and it was
Yeah.
interesting. But again, it's not something that I probably want to try.
Yeah. But there are ways of making it. Thank God for blenders. I remember when we were children, we used to grind groundnut.
Yeah,
Yes.
on stones.
Yes.
On the
The
stone.
stone,
On the
yeah.
stone.
Now you can buy groundnut paste already in the shop and I just make soup.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Maybe I've seen people talking about having ready-made stews in a can. I'm not sure how healthy that is.
Yeah,
You know, so I'm sure we'll find ways of bringing these
And
into
shortening the
21st century.
processes
Shortening the
for-
process
for preparation,
working
yeah.
women like us.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, Prof.
Thank
It was
you.
really nice talking to you, and this conversation was very insightful.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
having me. It's been an honor.
Yeah.
You're welcome.